Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coltrane Conservatory of the Arts talk show. My name is Joe Pace III. I will be your host for the next 30 minutes, as I am every Monday from 7:30 until 8:30. The board operator is Barbara G. Pace, and working together, we're going to bring you the next half hour. First thing about it, I'd like to say thank you for showing up here. We really appreciate you joining us on this evening. We're going to be talking about something that's going to help you to become a more successful person on this earth. And if you have a pencil and pen, that will help you even more so to follow after what I am saying. Because these are principles that it's not enough just to know them, but you must apply them in your life. If you look behind me, our slogan today is "A life is a terrible thing to waste." And unfortunately, so many people are doing just that, wasting their life away. Now, a few weeks ago, we talked about the mind and how it can be viewed as the garden of our subconscious mind. If you recall, we talked about the fact that the mind is a two-component unit. That is to say, one, the conscious mind, and two, the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is what we look at, we feel, we touch, and we do all the things. We examine things, we analyze, and do things of that nature with our conscious mind. Once we do that, that which we allow to come into our conscious mind and to tarry, then eases down to our subconscious mind, where it begins to grow. In other words, we call these thought seeds, those things that we let into our mind and whatnot. And I'm going to be talking to you about that on today, because so many times you hear people who really have not thought about life as much, and we need to think. People need to really have a mind open for thinking, because if we think more, we can make better decisions. Okay? Now, get your pen and paper. I'm going to be starting in just a moment because you need to jot some things down. This is an interactive program, and if you desire, you can call in. Okay? Now, we are a music school, but this show is dedicated to personal development and how we use our mind to attract those things into our life that we desire. That's what this show is dedicated to. Point blank and nothing else, okay? Now, I told you a while back that over the next several weeks, we're going to be dealing with this subject in detail. Now, I want you to think about the law of causality right now. The law of causality. Most of you have heard people talk about sowing and reaping. You've heard people talk about cause and effect. Those two are the same. There's no difference between sowing a seed or making a cause. Okay? So the calls we make today shape the future of our tomorrow. Now, what do I mean by that? Those things that you can actually predict the future for yourself. Because those things that you're doing today, they are indeed shaping the very future of your life. If you're studying hard, and let's say you're a student, you're studying hard, you're mindful, you are preparing yourself for the work world, and you're not letting anything get in your way, you're not over-socializing, you're not thinking that somehow I don't need to study, I can wait until the last moment, a day before the exam and I can cram and probably pass it that way. Those are losers' thoughts. But if you are taking care of business, you have a study time that you use regularly, whatever time that might be, if it's in the evening time, and you study for 2 or 3 hours, you're writing your papers, you're reading your books, the chances are you're going to have a great career because you're going to learn something. When you get into the workforce, you're not going to have to fake it. And people who fake it don't get very far in life. So the causes we make today shape the future of our life. Now I want to show you a few things over here. You may want to jot some of these things down. Whether good or bad, number 2, whether good or bad, what we do in life is bound to return. Now we need to understand that, and we need to understand it very well, that those causes that we're making, those actions that we're taking, those thoughts that we're thinking, they all bring back the nature of their kind, whether good or bad. What we do, and when we say what we do in life, we mean what we think, what words come out of our mouth, and what action we take. All of those things are thought seeds, ladies and gentlemen. So when we start talking about the devil, we need to understand that the bad thoughts, the bad actions, the bad words, all of those produce in our life the poison, the terrible experiences of this so-called devil. So if we look at it like that, we're saying to ourselves, okay, then I know how to cut the devil short. I can cut the devil short by doing my best to think good thoughts, to have good words flowing from my mouth, to take good actions, actions that will benefit me and everyone else around me. This is the way that I keep the devil at bay. Because when I start to think awful thoughts, to say awful things, and use awful words, I know I'm inviting him into my life. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we control this devil. We have full control over this devil. If we understand that we must master our minds, and as we said before, mastery of the mind is profound and should be practiced every moment of one's life. See, this is the key. Becoming a master of your mind and choosing only those things that you know are going to produce good fruit in your life, good fruit in the garden of your subconscious mind, and good experiences in your life. You know, some of you are practicing different religions, and you're listening to me now, and some of you may think this is absolutely ridiculous. But if you think about the words that come out of your religious book or literature, you can relate to this. See, the problem is people are studying these things, but they don't understand them. See, there's something that says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. Most people have no clue as to what that means. You know, they don't understand that the substance of whatever they're trying to bring into their life is actually one and the same with their faith, with the power of their faith. and the evidence of things unseen. That the faith and the substance represent the evidence of those things that we don't see. Most people don't have a clue as to what that means. When somebody said that faith without works is dead, people don't even think about that. They think that's just something. Most of us don't even think that, wait a minute, is he saying that I can have all the faith in the world and without taking action, it may as well go for zero because nothing is going to happen? And that's exactly what he's saying, what that statement is saying. That if you do not put a plan of action, and ladies and gentlemen, not just a plan of action, but a well thought out plan of action, one that you have meditated over, you've thought over, and you decided this is the best way to proceed. I've given it much deliberation, much meditation. I've thought it out thoroughly and in detail, and this is the way that I'm going to proceed at this particular time. Now, that is just one aspect of this faith. See, once you start thinking about something, and we want that to materialize in our world, we have to then put a plan together, a plan of action together. Now, once we put a plan of action together, that still is not the end. We must then be prepared to change that plan, not to defeat or not to step back, but to continue going after that good thing that I so much want, realizing that this is a temporary setback. What I need to do is I need to go back to the drawing board and come up with another plan or change this plan somewhat. If you think about Thomas Edison, someone said, I believe it said, that Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before he came up with the incandescent bulb. I mean, 10,000 times he failed. It would be very naive to think that you could come up with such a spectacular invention, light up the entire world, such an incredible idea that you could bring that into realization and do it without running into any stumbling blocks. I mean, that, folks, is not practical, nor is it reasonable or logical. Everything of value is going to present itself as a challenge. Everything. If something is very easy, I can tell you this right now, it probably has no value whatsoever to it, or very little value. But if it's difficult and you stay with it, it likely has a whole lot of value to it, and that value will be recognized and realized in due time. So what I'm saying here is that we need to be ready. We need to understand, first of all, that there is going to be some setbacks. That's the way life is. But thank goodness that we have a lot more forward movement and successes than we have setbacks. If we think about all the successes that we have in life, and we put them on one side, and we put the so-called, what I call temporary defeats on the other side, the success list is going to be far greater. We pay our bills, ladies and gentlemen, far more than we get in trouble with a bill. and I think most of you out there would agree with me. Okay, our health is far better than our sickness days. Okay, so our ups and the good things that come into our life are far greater than the things that are not so good. But when those not so good things come into our life, if we work our way through those things, we rise up a little higher and we become stronger and we succeed in the things that we are trying to do, or that we are doing. We succeed in those things. And that's what we have to look at life. Now, let's keep going. Let's move on. And like I told you, you can make a phone call if you want to. You may have a question or even a comment, and we will take that. Barbara is waiting for your calls if you do have one. Okay, now let's take a look at what we have here. That last statement. If you look at that last statement, it says there really is no such thing as luck. Good causes, whether known or unknown, bring about good luck. Okay, that's the only thing that brings up good causes. There we have it. Bring about good luck. Okay, now what are we talking about there? People talk about luck, but when we think hard enough, we know there's no such thing as luck. Everything in my life has been brought about by cause and effect. Cause and effect. This is a natural law of life. There are many. There's the law of compensation. There's the law of forgiveness, There's a law of reaping and sowing. All of these are universal laws. And all of these things can be found probably in your religious material if you look for it and if you can understand it, you see. So what we're trying to do is to put an understanding on some of the very things that you're studying at this time. There really is no such thing as luck. Everything is based on cause and effect, sowing and reaping. And we have to recognize that those things that you are trying to do right now, they can be done, but you cannot, I repeat, you cannot entertain doubt. Because when you're entertaining doubt, what you're doing is saying that this magnificent power that's going through your life as we talk, as you look at this television program right now, that's moving through your life, enabling you to move your body and your heart to beat and all this, that this magnificent source is not real. When we doubt it, that's what we're saying. And what we need to be thinking about is the very act of our existence. The very act of our existence is, if you want to use the word miracle, is a miracle. So let's go back and I'm just going to say amazing. So this power, this single source of all things, this supreme intelligence, this power has already equipped us with everything that we need in order to succeed on this planet. Whether it's health, happiness, good relationships, our educational pursuits, whatever we're trying to do, this power has already equipped us to be able to do it. But it all starts in the mind with belief. We have to first believe that we possess this power in our own life, that this power is going through our life as we speak here, as we breathe. This power is going through all of life. The sun, the moon, the stars, the animals in the jungle, the animals in the wood, our lives, our children's lives, our grandchildren. This power is going through everything. And guess what? It is the source of all things. I don't care what it is. Space flight. The intelligence to do that came from this source. Television. The intelligence to move these frequencies across wires, across fiber optic cables. The intelligence to move these frequencies, these invisible vibrations through the air and produce this image that you see on this television, it's all from this one source. The intelligence to travel to the moon, to circle, I believe it was, Jupiter, I believe that they circled not long ago. To do these things, all of this intelligence comes from this one magnificent mind that we are one with. And that power is going through our life. That power is flowing, I should say, through our life. And when we realize that it is in our life and that we use it in the way that we want to use it, that's when we start to move ahead. And that the problem is not on the outside of our life, but on the inside of our life. That no one can tell us what to think. And thought is where everything starts. Everything that we see, whether or not it's a computer, a television set, a fancy, an automobile, all of this started in somebody's mind. And those minds that decided, I'm not going to be defeated, went on and succeeded. And that is why we say that a life is a terrible thing to waste. Because we have so much power, ladies and gentlemen, that we don't know anything about, that we are wasting. So much power that we are wasting. Now, I want to say this right here before we go off the air, that what I would like to do, I would like for you to make certain that you have your pencil and paper with you. Because eventually we're going to do some seminars around in the city in which you can attend and get more of this and get really down to the very thrust of what's going on in terms of how to use our minds. Because once we begin to understand how to use our mind, those jobs that we've been trying to get, that house that we've been trying to get, that car, those relationships we've been trying to heal, all of those things are possible once we learn how to use the mind. Now, nothing happens overnight, and some of you may be not understanding that when you plant a seed, remember that seed must be tended to. It must be cared for. And as you care for that seed, let's say if you're in a garden at your home, you care for it by watering it. You may fertilize it. You may want to put it in position so that it gets lots of sunlight, and things of that nature. When we care for the seeds that we plant, our thought seeds that we plant in the garden of our subconscious mind, we are doing that by doing the best we can for other people, by not holding grudges against people, by forgiving individuals who, in many cases, we feel should never be forgiven. But this is the way that we care for that garden. This this magnificent power, this single source, this supreme intelligence does not like unforgiveness. It does not like hatred, jealousy, thievery. It doesn't like it. The nature of it is such that it is compassionate, it is kind, it is hardworking, so to speak. It has integrity. It's all those wonderful things that we could think about. You know what I mean? It's reaching out to others, because what we do for others is the greatest cause that we could ever make. And if you believe in cause and effect, then you know that what you do for another human being, you can imagine what effects that must be putting into your life, since all human beings are very special creatures. When we examine ourselves, the things that this single source, that this magnificent mind is made up of, so to speak, and we think about the fact that our image, that we are in the image of this powerful source, then we must understand that we must be like it in order for it to work through us, you know. Because ultimately, nothing that's going on that we do, we are doing. Now, we are doing it. It's a partnership, if you want to put it like that right there. But what's happening is this energy, this power is flowing through us because we have harmonized with it. And it's enabling us to do these wonderful things that it itself is wanting to happen. Okay? That it itself is wanting to happen. And because we have harmonized with it, we've humbled ourselves, we are dealing with these causes, these universal laws of cause and effect, and we are dealing with this, the understanding of how we guard our minds and make certain that we only allow those things into our mind that are going to help us and give us, the best possible fruit, which will be the experiences in our external world. When we do that, then this power can work through us. See, and as this power works through us, we begin to enjoy everything about life. Whatever we want, if it's cars, if it's money, if it's good jobs, all of that starts to come to us. And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to remember that this is a practice. You have to start at some point. If things are not working overnight, don't worry about that. Gardens take time to grow. The harvest that you are going to be reaping, it takes time. But you have to keep tending that garden. Don't stop. Keep watering it, keep fertilizing it, keep plenty of sunshine on it, and I guarantee you, in due time, you'll say, I'm so glad I listened to that man. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joe Pace III saying we'll see you next week at this same time, same station. Take care.